It's Mark Ludwig from the Allegan Conservation District, and we are looking at our Truax no-till drill. This is a drill we use for planting wildflowers and prairie grass and pasture and all kinds of good stuff. These are on loan to us from the Michigan DNR. In this case, this is a Flex 88, 5 feet wide and 8 rows, and we've got it all tore apart today, so we thought we'd have a look at it. The Truax has a lot of scrapers on it in order to be able to keep it clean. You've got an external scraper here, and this is spring loaded so it maintains tension. You've got a plastic scraper that keeps this depth band clean. The Truax is interesting because this is a standard double disc opener, except we've got a depth band on it so we can't plant the seed too deep. This makes this a terrible drill for planting soybeans. It's just plants them too shallow, but it's great for our wildflowers and our prairie grass. We've got a press wheel back here that we put on to firmly get the seeds pressed into the ground. And the goal today is just to show you some of the maintenance and whatnot that we've had to do on it. One more scraper to show you. This is the internal scraper. One of the double discs is removed. Here's our double disc opener. And this is also spring loaded. I'll show you the springs in a second here. So it maintains contact with the inside of the double disc opener. The upshot is that this thing is capable of cleaning its discs in pretty lousy conditions, even though we don't really recommend planting into lousy conditions, of course. So let's have a look at what we did today. Here's one of the internal scrapers. Here you can see it's actually worn away quite a lot of that. So we've gone ahead and replaced these. Kind of interesting assembly to these. You end up with this little spacer in here, and then a spring. And then there's another external spacer, like so, that holds it all together. And that's kind of a complicated devil to put together. Here's our plastic scrapers that you see. In this case, let me just show you. Here's a worn one where quite a bit of it's worn away. These aren't too bad, but we were at it, so we went ahead and replaced them anyway. These also have a steel backing plate to keep them stiff, and as you can see, if the plastic wears away, then it starts cutting on these metal parts. It's not good for either the depth band or the plastic scraper or the scraper itself, so you definitely want to get after it. Here's our external depth band scrapers. Again, here's the worn ones we removed, and as you can see, they do really take a beating after a while. These particular scrapers come in a left hand and a right hand. If you're kind of short on cash or whatever, you can't actually flip them around and use them on the other side. They don't fit quite as nice, but it will work. You can do it. We replaced several bearings in our double disc openers. In this case, we've removed the depth band. And with the Truax, you can actually change the depth bands to make them go deeper, so you can actually get this thing in the ground deep enough to plant soybeans or bigger seeds. You just got to swap out that depth band. On the double disc opener, there's a carriage bolt here. You can loosen that up and theoretically pop that depth band right off there and swap it out. In order to change out the bearing in the double disc opener, you can see where we've been grinding on this. We had to grind these rivets off and then knock them out of there, and then you can put the new bearing into it. So other maintenance we like to do on an annual basis, get in here, take this cover off and oil up the chains. There's quite a few grease zerks on it. There's a number of different options available on the Truax drills. We have one of the more aggressive ones for actually opening the slot. These little discs actually run out in front and cut a pretty aggressive path through the sod. It will go right through sod, no problem at all. You also see coulters and on pivots on these things and some other different things, but most of the ones in Michigan I think are set up like this, the ones the DNR bought. A couple other things you want to do, of course. This is the clutch that keeps the mechanism from turning when the drill is lifted up. That should be checked and maintained and oiled every year. You've got a grease zerk up front here. All these chains need to be oiled. Certainly the chain in here, a little more difficult to see, but we've got a chain in here with the derailleur system where we can change the speed. You can kind of see how that works. You just move the chain around on here to put more or less seed out where you go. One other thing that we'll probably want to do this year, and I don't know if we'll get to it or not, I found these chains that actually hold the row units in place like to bind, and you can see that right here where the chain is actually lapped over, kind of caught on itself. Probably ought to just go ahead and replace those every now and again just so they don't slip, or at least give them a little squirt of oil or something so they don't bind quite so much. Either that, you gotta just get off the tractor and whack them with a hammer. So anyway, that's basically how you work on your Flex 88, how to change out those scrapers and all that good stuff. I will say one thing about the Truax company also. When you call Truax, you can get Mr. Jim Truax, who designed all this stuff, on the phone, and he will be happy to run you through how to do this kind of maintenance. Very, very good customer service from these guys, so I can heartily recommend the organization. Anyway, that's it for Truax maintenance for this year. Mark Ludwig, Allegan Conservation District.